Okay, so hi. Um, I've been watching the news this morning. I'm still in my pajamas. I've actually got coffee all over my all over my shirt, my nightshirt. I've been watching the news this morning, and it's incomprehensible. So I just need a quiet space for a little while to calm down. So I thought we would work on building some characters playing. Once again, I didn't really plan this out, but in my little books, in Stories from Scooter Town, we have all kinds of characters. We have all kinds of characters that have all kinds of backgrounds. Most of them have suffered loss. We don't really talk about it very much. I do it in not a vague way, but it is implied in some of the illustrations in some of the books that I've outlined. One in particular, Jack, our little bunny rabbit, Jack Rabbit, he's suffered abuse in his home, neglect and abuse. Other characters have lost family members in accidents, but they've lost family members. And the thing about Scooter Town is, and that's resulted in characters having different reactions to other personalities and living through their past experience, some of their traumas, but still interacting. They're interacting, and the characters. It is the other character's reaction to the protagonist, or the one who is upset, like Jack, and strikes out or causes ripples of ripple effects throughout the community. It is the rest of the community's responsibility to react in a kind and understanding way. And that is a large impetus in my book, or a large part of my books, is learning to live in a community and understand where the other people are coming from. And although everyone, or almost everyone, has suffered in a way, because we all suffer in a way, they still learn to play and connect and keep their community safe, and just essentially be kids, even though they're animals that I use. So today, because I need in this video, because I really need a calm, quiet space right now, I thought we would draw a few of the characters playing. So that's what we're going to do. And each of the characters starts off like this. It's like an egg shape and then a circle. And the characters are going to be running and jumping. So let's start off, and I want them to be in proportion with the houses that we've been building. Oh my gosh, stand up. Poor little teapot doesn't want to stand up. That's Max's old house. This is Bugsy's house, which we just drew in the last video, and then we have a couple more. We have Jack's house. But we want to make sure that they're pretty much in proportion, because this is leading to a much larger project that we're expanding on. So let's start by drawing a couple of ovals. I like I said, I didn't really plan this out. So let's keep our fingers crossed I get it right. And even if I don't, it's okay. So we're just going to draw a couple of ovals. And then I want one of the characters looking in this direction, but I'm going to draw his head there. And that doesn't mean his head will always be that large. Just means we're just indicating where his head will be. And then another character this way, because he's going to be running. And I think this one is going to be Bugsy. my little dog. We're going to be drawing him, only with the rest of his body. Once again, hopefully, if we get this right. So Bugsy's eye is going to be right there, almost in the center of the circle. And then we're going to be drawing Joel, the little squirrel. And his eye is going to be there. And I love having these two play. They're friends. They're more like frenemies, pretending to be frenemies, where they chase each other and play. Because squirrels and dogs tend to antagonize each other and play. So we're going to draw a line down this way, that indicates his forehead, and a line down this way, which indicates his other eye socket. So we've got that line. Let's draw his nose so we know where the center of his face is going to be, or where we're going to be drawing his nose and then his mouth. So there's his nose. It's just a little bit below the eye. You can draw it up a little bit higher if you like. It doesn't matter. And his nose is a triangle. Let's go over to Joel, whose face has a couple more angles in it, but they're essentially the same. So let's do that. This shape again, only a little bit bigger, and we might change it. His ear, it's just another triangle, almost like a leaf, the leaves we've been drawing. I'm going to go under his chin. I hope I get this right. Will be like that. Now, if Bugsy's face were turning this way, we would be doing the exact same line. Once again, they're essentially the same. The shapes and design, the bodies. All right, line down for the side of the Bugsy's head, and then underneath, just a little bit of a curved line for a chin. And then his ear is a little bit bigger. Well, it's a lot bigger actually than Joel's. And because he's running into the wind, we're going to start off with his ear sticking up. So it's coming off of the side of his head and up a little bit. And again, it's essentially the same shape as Joel's ear and Jack's ear. They're all essentially the same. So there's his ear, one of his ears. The other one is going to be almost like a rectangle. Like that. Let's draw the inside of Bugsy's ear just so we keep a notation in our head. And that can be a straight line or a slightly curvy line. I think I want the top of Bugsy's ear to feel a little more floaty. So I'm going to curve it over like that just a little bit. Bugsy is a little dog, let's not forget. I'm going to take the egg shape on Bugsy's body, and I'm going to give him a curve for a tummy. We're going to do the same on Joel, a curve for a tummy. Right there and right there. Bugsy's back is essentially going to be a straight line, as is Joel's. Straight line, straight line. Joel's head, I forgot the back of Joel's head, and I forgot his second ear. Oh, no, we don't draw his second ear, because he wears a hat. So we've got the back of Joel's head. It's just a slightly curved line coming down to his back. Joel wears a hat. He wears like a little, almost like a little knitted cap, but it could be any type of cap. Like there. So it's really just a rectangle, and the brim is a line across the front. And don't worry too much about getting this right off the start, because we're going to be drawing in pen. I like to do the paws, the front paws first. So I'm going to pull Bugsy's egg shape in just a little bit with a line like this. And then his paws, because he's running. And his paws, let me see. Let's make them come out a little bit. That might not be right. His paw, or his leg, is basically a curved line with a straight line. We could make him look more active, but we're going to keep this pretty simple. Curved line with a straight line, another straight line, and there's the front of his paw. Then we're going to do the same thing with Joel, because once again, they are essentially the same. So the front of his chest, and then going from his tummy to his leg to his front paw. And then, because I really want them to look more active, let me think about this. I think I want to lift Bugsy's other paw, his left paw, just up a little bit. Because he kind of looks like he's laying down, as does Joel, and we don't want that. They're chasing each other. So, line, curved line. Yeah. I think we're just going to do the same thing on Joel. Maybe stretch it out a little bit. Straight line, curved line. I'm going to round out. I think I want to round out and maybe lower his right paw just a little bit so he looks slightly more active. So I just lowered that line a little bit, made the curve under. Lifted this with a straight line, curved line under. See? They're essentially the same. Now this is where it's going to get tricky. We're going to draw the back parts of them. And again, I didn't plan this out, and I apologize. I really should have thought this out better. Where are they? Okay. The back parts are going to be circles. We're probably going to curve the back a little bit. There's his bum. Let's draw a circle for Bugsy's bum. See how they're the same? And I have an easier time drawing Bugsy. I make just a shape like this. Just zoop, zoop. There's his leg, his right leg. Let's see if we can get his bum done. I made his bum a little big. Let's see. Whoop, I didn't quite give him enough room on my paper, but it's okay. It's okay. So we've got his bum. I like to draw angles, but so I've stuck with that, but we don't have to because we're pulling out our pen soon. There's what would be his knee, and there's what would be his paw right there. So it's a line down from the bum, up the back of his knee, and his foot. And like I said, his leg should be longer. So maybe, let's see, let's recalibrate this just a bit. How about if we do that? And if you look at it, he is the same as Jack. The shape is the same as Jack the bunny rabbit, as will Joel be. I think I'm going to pull his bum in just a little bit too. Poor Bugsy, he doesn't have a big bum in real life. I got to think about Jack for a sec. I mean Joel, rather. How did I draw him? I have 100 drawings of him, and I can't remember how I drew him. But because they're the same, I'm just going to go on that. I'm just going to stick with it. Oh, sorry, I jumped ahead. This is what it's like to live in my head. I remember stuff, I forget stuff, and it's okay. But we're going to have that same kind of S line that we have on Bugsy. Pretty much the same foot. We're really just not going to worry about it. Today we're just showing the similarities between all our characters who live in this little village. So I would just make a line here for the bottom of his foot, a line for the back of his leg, and another line for the back of his leg, going up into the butt. They both have big fluffy tails. Big curve up that way, big fluffy tail coming out of his butt. Joel has a much bigger fluffy tail, which again I didn't leave enough room for, but it'll be okay. Doesn't matter. So another big curve for the fluffy tail. And I'm sure when he's running it should be sticking out that way, but we're going to stick with the similarities. And this is what makes them friends, is they share similarities. They're not exactly the same, but they have similar experiences in life. They both live alone. They both have had to learn to live alone. They both have lost family. And they still learn to play and to be kind. So there's Joel's tail, the outside of Joel's tail. Let's draw the inside of Bugsy's tail. It's the same shape. It's just a curve and another curve. So it's just smaller, that's all. Almost the same legs, almost the same shapes that we use. Okay? Let's go into Bugsy's face, because he's super happy to have playtime with his friend Joel. So Bugsy, oh I'm sorry, I've just kind of jumped ahead, excuse me. So his smile is going to be two lines, I apologize for that, two lines coming off his nose, a little line this way to indicate a smile, and his mouth being open, and then another line up that way to indicate his mouth is open and he's smiling. Then we're going to draw his jaw, which is, whoops, made him too big. Two lines coming down that way at that angle. It's meeting the tip of his smile in his mouth. And then a curved line coming out. So 1, 2 lines, and then a curved line. This will have whiskers on it in a little bit. And we're going to keep Joel's mouth closed, I think. Yeah, because he's just going to look goofy otherwise. But we know in our hearts they're happy and playing. Joel's nose is actually a little bit longer. So I think squirrels tend to have an angular face. So I'm changing his nose just a little bit, taking a line down there, making it a little bit more like a triangle. Line down, and then curves. Okay, ready? Let's grab our pens. I got my big fat Sharpie. Let's start there. I like to start with the eyes. Again, those are just circles. And Joel usually has a pair of glasses on, but he's going to leave them off for playtime because we don't need them getting broken. Okay. When we go to do the side of his, when we go to draw them both, they have fur, so the lines are not going to be solid. Doop, doop. We're going to do a number of those lines. Just hair sticking out, fur sticking out. I like to draw Bugsy's jaw with a little bit of a curve out, and then coming down, like that. His ear, we're going to add just a little bit more curve than we originally did, so he goes like that. I like to do the inside of his ear next. There's the inside. And then the outside. And I drew it a little too oddly. So I just changed the lines on him. It came up, goes out, a couple of little lines sticking out for fur. Top of his head, lines indicating fur. Just 3 little lines up there. Doing his forehead. Line coming down, line coming down. His outside cheek, fur. His ear, there's going to be a couple of straight lines, but fur. So 1 line, 2 lines, fur. Don't worry about the lines, it's just doop, doop, doop. That's all you do. His nose, the triangle, his mouth, it's 2 lines coming down, off the nose, off the triangle nose. Smile, smile. And the bottom of the mouth. And I originally drew the mouth a little big, so I'm making it a little bit shorter. But look at how happy he is. They're forgetting their troubles and they're playing. They're forgetting their differences and they're just playing. Okay, I'm drawing his back and his butt. Again, just stripes of lines coming up, really easy. I know, Kitty. I want to do the front of his chest, which I do with kind of a squiggly line and lines going sideways like that. I hope you can see that. And his paw, which I tend to do, and I didn't do in the original drawing, is a slightly curved line coming up that indicates motion. Another line coming out, straight line coming out, so we get a curved line and a straight line. A couple of our dotted fur lines for his paw, and then the underside. That line right there is a pencil line, that weird line there, so I'm going to erase it so we don't get confused, okay? There. We're going to do the same thing on the other paw. Curved line coming up. Again, I didn't draw it that way originally, but it's a curved line coming up, indicating motion. Another slightly curved line coming out of it. And then dotted lines indicating fur. Dotted lines indicating fur. Because the end of the paw is not something that's, really cut perfectly when we get our dog's hair cut. So we've got the paw curve, and then we're coming up and under for the front of his leg. Okay. And then for his tummy, it's just another curved line. Curved line. And then these are going to be fur. Fur. And I just decided to go in the opposite direction of the fur on top. So it's curved line, fur lines. That also that helps to break up the drawing too, those little fur lines. I'm going to do the back of his butt. Fur lines. Instead of like a flat line coming, it's fur lines sticking out. Now his knee. Whoop. Down like that. There's the front of his. That's the front of his leg, or his. What it is. I can't remember. Boink, boink, boink. Then his shin with fur sticking out. We'll do the back of his knee. I like to make a little C in there. Then a line coming down to the back of his foot. A little C right there. And then a line for the back of his foot. His heel. Some fur. And there we go. It isn't perfect. It's okay though. I didn't draw the back paw. I'm not sure if I should. We're going to leave the tail for just a sec, and we're going to go to Joel. I want to start with his hat, which once again is just a rectangle with a line in the middle. There's his hat. Maybe I should have drawn his eye up a little bit higher, but it's okay. I'm not going to worry about it. He has little ears, and we're only seeing one of them, and that's a leaf shape. Let's draw the back of his head, which is just a line, and I think I want to give him some fur on the back of his head, or going to his neck. Let's draw the front of his face, line down, line down, line down, line down. The bottom's going to kind of curve under, that's where his mouth is. Okay, little bit of a curve, little bit of a curve. Okay, his chest. Then we'll go into a paw, and we're going to draw them very similarly to Bugsy, but without that line, because they are different. His other paw, a line, a little bit of fur. Okay. And his tummy, fur like Bugsy's, and I think I'm just going to draw fur. You don't have to. You don't have to draw little lines for fur. You can draw a solid line. Okay. I'm going to do his back now. And his bum. Maybe I should have drawn more solid lines, but it's okay. I'm going to draw the back of his bum. Boink! Back of his bum. It's just one line down. I'm going to draw the back of his leg. I'm going to give him that slate C shape in there. That slate C shape, and then a straight line down. And then I make his paws a little less complicated than Bugsy's in this one. It's like a rectangle, but with a funny angle. Line up, line over. I made fur lines, line down. Then the front of his leg, where his knee would be. Just like that. We might draw the other leg. We might add it. I'm not sure. Now we're going to do the tail. And the tail is a whole bunch of fur lines like that. He's got a big fluffy tail. So we're going to go through with dots and dashes. And they can go in all kinds of directions. Okay. I drew fur lines and dots, dashes, fur lines going in all different directions. We're going to do the same thing on Bugsy. Dots and dashes. This is what my Bugsy's tail kind of looks like. Like that. Dots and dashes, just fur lines. Look at that. I know, kitty, I know. I'm just going to try something for a sec. No. think we're going to leave off that a second back leg. We're just going to leave it off. I'm going to take, I know, Kitty. He wants to go outside, but he's an indoor cat, so that's why he's meowing. You know, we didn't draw Bugsy's collar, so let's do that really quick. It's just 2 lines on the neck, just below his jaw. Oh, there's a heron in my backyard. There we go. Okay. And a woodpecker out there the other day. There we go. 2 lines below his jaw. And what I forgot, his tongue. So we're going to draw a second curved line inside the mouth. A second curved line inside the mouth. And that'll indicate the tongue. But we're going to put away the big fat pen and take out our skinny Sharpie. There. That indicates his tongue. Because he's happy. We're going to do the eyes, and in other videos I've shown you the eyes are just a series of lines going out and across. Oop, there goes my pencil. We don't need it anymore. We're going to do Joel's eyes, just like that. You know what? I think we need to give Joel, actually, excuse me, come here, pencil, a jaw. He doesn't even look like he's having fun. I may have may have messed that up just a little bit, but it's okay. This is our first try. I want to give him just an indication of a jaw. So let's grab the fat pen. Remember how the circle was there? That's the bottom of the circle. That'll be his jawline. Boink. Just like so. Maybe Joel's thinking about something while they're playing, and that's why he looks so serious. I'm not really sure. Like I said, this is our first attempt at showing them playing. So we can always do this again. All right, let's grab scissors. We're not going to cut directly on the line. We're going to cut around all the lines. We're going to give white space between the lines and our scissors. Big shapes, big easy shapes. We're not going to worry about cutting tiny little shapes. That's not what we're about. Do this. It's about easy and fun. Just like that. I'm feeling better already. I don't have a lot of friends. I don't have a lot of people that I hang out with. So I love building this imaginary world where I have fairness and kindness and understanding. It makes me feel better about the real world. I cut in just a little bit. I cut some of the paper in just a little bit. You don't have to. You do what you want. I don't want you to sweat this. It's an easy project. Yeah, I like to do this especially when the world is sad and upsetting. Then I go and I make something and I feel better. Make a world that is all about the values I consider important and just. There we go. We got Joel. Ooh, should we cut out his tail? Or do we worry about it right now? Maybe I will. This is a little bit harder. You don't want to crinkle the paper, you don't want to goof up. But let's see what happens when I do it. I like experimenting. Ooh, look! I just made a little hole, like clipped in, made a little hole, and then cut around. You do what you want to do. Now I'm going to cut out Bugsy. Now my real dog, Bugsy, when we lived on Cape Cod, we had a 7-foot high stockade fence. And when he was little, squirrels would come out in the backyard and he would chase them around. He would chase bunny rabbits, he would chase squirrels, he even chased a possum once. Vicious possum. But he would chase squirrels across the yard and almost jump up the entire height of our 7-foot stockade fence. And this guy is not big. He's 19 pounds and he's pretty small, but he would fly in the air chasing these squirrels. And he always looked like that. He looked so happy. And the squirrels would come and tease him and tease him. And he would jump up on that stockade fence to get at them when they went in the trees or were crawling across the fence. So that's where I got the idea for this. Because they would get out of the yard and then they'd come back in. And Bugsy and the squirrels would do this, pardon me, for hours. It was really funny to watch. Okay. See the big shapes I've cut? Nothing difficult. Nothing fancy. Take some of that pencil off. Okay. So I've got my Bugsy all cut out. Got my Joel all cut out, and I've got my Bugsy all cut out. Now, how are we going to make them running? I know. So we're going to take our scrap of paper, because we want them a little high off the ground. We're going to do, I know what we're going to do. So let's take a piece of paper with my glue stick. We're going to make those rolls. We're going to make 2 of those rolls that we make to help things stand up while we're building a scene. We want them a little tall. Doesn't need to be that thick, but it's okay. So we'll put some glue on one end. Take the other end. Roll it up. We're not going to glue it on yet because we've got something else we're going to do. We'll glue it on in a second, okay? We've got one roll. It's a little long. Let's make our second roll. Okay. Put some glue on. Yep. Doesn't have to be too skinny, doesn't have to be too fat. However it works out is fine. Excuse me. Our second roll. So we've got 2 of these guys. A little bit of glue or tape. And we've got 2 rolls. Okay? Now, because we're going to see, once we glue this on, we're going to see too much underneath. We are going to build a little bit of grass. Let's see, how much do we need? Let's take kind of a long section of paper. We may need 2 rolls actually for each one. But let's take a little section of paper and kind of do that. Let me erase the beginning of this project. We're just going to draw a line. Okay? And again, I didn't plan this out, so we're just going to do it. We drew a line across. Let's draw some grass. And grass is just like the fur. It's just lines sticking up. We can do a little bit of this. We can do straight lines, curvy lines. Doesn't matter. This is a cartoon. Right? I just did mine really, really quick. I didn't think about it. I just put down lines. Let's see how that looks. This is going to be a background, so we don't need to worry about too much. Let's think about, let me see what we want to do. Yeah. Let's see how the grass looks. Let's just draw more grass. Lines sticking up here and there. I'm sure they don't mow the lawn in this little field where they're playing, so it's going to be long grass, short grass. Just line, line, lines. Not thinking about it, not worrying about it, just lines, lines, lines. Okay, let's see how that looks. Oh, that's going to look great. Oop. That's going to look nice. All right, let's just cut that out really quick. We're going to do another one because we need 2 sets of grass for the guys to be running through. Again, not worrying about cutting too much. The shapes don't, not cutting it. We don't have to worry about cutting into it. We don't have to worry about detail if you don't want to. It does not matter. I'm going to cut in just a little bit. You don't have to. See what I'm doing? You see? Okay, we're getting short on time, so we're trying to move fast. There we go. We're going to do another one just like it. Grabbing a piece of paper, because I want that flat bottom. Another line. Make the grass really quick. Sorry if I'm moving too fast, but I know the video. My iPad's running out of time. I drew the top very quickly. Now I'm going to draw boink, boink, boink. Boink, boink, boink. You can always stop the video and draw as slowly or as quickly as you need. Do what you need to do, that's all. But I got to speed up a little bit here. Okay, drew my grass. I'm going to cut it out. Then we're going to make a couple more rolls, paper rolls, to make the grass stand up on its own. Because it's bigger than the characters. Ooh, we're going to move quickly. My little iPad. Okay, I've got my grass. It's going to be too big. I'm going to make a couple of quick paper rolls for it. Making these a little bit fatter so they're sturdier. glue on one end, roll it up. Glue, glue. Oops, that one's too tall. Glue, glue. You can always do one in the center too. Oop, Joel is hiding. That's not what I intended at all. We might want to do some grass right there, but we're really running out of time. And I apologize. So we can always finish this up in another video. Come on. Gotta make sure he's balanced. Shoot. I think what I'm going to do is take this little one, because we really, oh my god, I'm going to run out of time. I'm going to take this little one, cut it in half, and here. Okay, recalibrating again. I'm going to glue half of the grass that we originally drew right there. I'm going to glue it right on that little roll. And glue Joel over the top, and it's okay. I know we're going to be covering up some of what we drew, but it's okay. That's also helping to make him a little bit more stable. You can always draw him jumping, glue him on so he's jumping up a little bit. All right, very quickly, let's do the same thing with Bugsy. We're going to glue the other part of the grass that we cut out on the bottom. And then we'll glue Bugsy on the top. Oop. Oop, he doesn't want to stay. Oop. I'm going to cut a little bit off of there. Maybe a little bit more glue and Bugsy will want to stay. And there we go. If I'd really thought about it, we could have done more detail, but I'm not going to worry about it. Look at, they're running. They're playing and having fun. And there's Bugsy's house in the background. Here, we'll move that. There. So we saw that when we were drawing them, they were very, very similar in shape and design. They have very similar characters. Joel is a little bit more serious than Bugsy, but that's okay. Let's take one of our other houses and put it nearby. Hey, Joel, stop. Oh my God. Don't forget, my desk is at a tilt. So, that's why I'm having trouble. Ah! All right, why don't we quit while I'm ahead? Okay, there we go. There's Bugsy and Joel playing in a field with the houses in the background. Okay? All right, we did it. We did it. All right, we'll see you again soon. We'll see you again very soon.